Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely wild. We're talking about an unbelievable story of how a single creator's sheer grit, combined with modern technology, built a massive, fully realized musical ecosystem. We're unpacking the phenomenon known as the AI Orchestra.
20,000. Think about that for a second. That is the number of fully produced, cataloged, and released tracks we're talking about today. Now, if I told you a giant, multinational music studio with hundreds of producers achieved this, you'd probably be impressed, right? But what if I told you this entire catalog was produced by exactly one person?
Now, the architect behind this whole AI orchestra isn't just some tech enthusiast who happened to stumble onto some new software. This is someone who brilliantly combined a deep, foundational background in traditional, private FM radio broadcasting in Macedonia with the cutting-edge power of artificial intelligence. They basically took a lifetime of media instincts and applied them directly to a brand new era of technology.
So, you're probably sitting there wondering the exact same thing I was. How does one human being actually produce 20,000 songs? It sounds physically impossible. And the truth is, it isn't just about pushing a magic button. It requires a level of systematic engineering and a rigid production pipeline that is honestly nothing short of astonishing.
Section 1. The local Gevgelija experiment.
To really wrap our heads around the massive scale of this project today, we've got to go back to its incredibly humble, localized beginnings. You see, this didn't start as a bid for world domination. It started as a tiny experiment back in 2024. The baseline concept was super simple. Just a 10-track collection dedicated entirely to the city of Gevgelija. The creator's goal was fascinating, though. Present the exact same lyrical themes about this one city, but produce them across 10 distinct musical genres. That was the whole project.
But remember, back in early 2024, generative AI tools were basically in their absolute infancy. They were definitely not the powerhouse tools we think of today. They were severely restricted, often only capable of outputting rigid 30-second clips of audio. To make a full song, you had to painstakingly generate, stitch, and extend these tiny fragments over and over. Every advancement in AI over the following months rapidly accelerated this process, pushing the project way beyond that initial Gevgelija experiment.
Section 2. Human grit versus machine.
Now, if you're thinking the AI just did all the heavy lifting here, well, prepare to have your perspective completely flipped. It was a messy, frustrating battle of wills. On one side, you've got the human, armed with high-level media instincts, super strict quality control, and traditional broadcasting standards. On the other side, the machine, fighting back with those 30-second limits, severe struggles with the nuances and accents of the Macedonian language, and manual errors that constantly led to total metadata chaos. The AI didn't inherently understand what good programming sounded like. The human had to force it to learn.
There's this one quote from the source material that I absolutely love, because it hits the nail on the head. Failed generations, unusable audio artifacts, and digital chaos. There were these intense, honestly heartbreaking moments where entire batches of albums had to be mercilessly discarded because they simply failed the creator's strict quality checks. The AI would hallucinate, or the Macedonian pronunciation would glitch out, and hours of work would just end up straight in the digital trash bin.
Section 3. The automated production engine.
But, human ingenuity usually finds a way. To survive that digital chaos, the creator realized working harder wasn't going to cut it. They had to build an unbreaking engineering pipeline. This repeatable production methodology changed everything. It wasn't just about making music anymore. Step 1 was rigorous prompt design. Step 2 was flawless metadata management, so files wouldn't get lost. Step 3 was pure automation. And Step 4, ironclad quality control and archival workflows. This structured engine became the absolute backbone for scaling from a few dozen songs to literally thousands.
To actually make those steps work, the creator literally had to write custom automation scripts. Just imagine the discipline required to build scripts that automatically rename files, meticulously track metadata, and categorize thousands of tracks by genre and vocal type. This transformed what would normally require an entire studio production team into a streamlined workflow managed by just one highly organized human.
Section 4. The 11 distinct bands.
Once that incredible production engine was humming along smoothly, the creative doors just blew wide open. This robust pipeline fueled an absolute explosion of creative diversity, which the creator actually organized into 11 entirely unique, distinct bands. For instance, you have Frostbeats, exploring these icy, eternal winter soundscapes, perfectly juxtaposed against the Stadium Kings, who are pushing adrenaline-pumping, sports-centric energy. Two completely different sonic worlds, managed by the exact same centralized system.
And the diversity doesn't stop there. Just contrast the global, unifying world music rhythms of Borderless with the rich, historical Silk Road echoes of Orient Pulse. Every single band is a new experiment in prompt engineering and genre adaptation. Or consider the sweeping, orchestral cinematic grandeur of Movie Legends, right alongside the pulsing, modern, concrete jungle heartbeat of Urban Echoes. The creator isn't just generating random sounds for the fun of it. They are curating highly specific listener experiences, drawing heavily on their traditional broadcasting background. So, the entire dizzying roster includes Borderless, Frostbeats, Goat Universe, Hoops Dynasty, Masters of Vision, Movie Legends, Neural Orchestra, Orient Pulse, Stadium Kings, Urban Echoes, and the ZZ Band that started it all. Every single one of these carries its own distinct sound, its own rich visual identity, and its own deliberate reason for existing within the larger AI orchestra.
Section 5. AI World Records Framework.
Okay, so producing 20,000 tracks across 11 bands creates a completely new problem. How do you actually prove and organize all this? This astonishing volume of output necessitated the creation of an entirely new kind of formal, structured organization. Think about the timeline. In 2024, it was just the local Gevgelija experiment. Merely months later, those custom scripts allowed scaling to thousands of tracks. And by 2025, navigating this unbelievable scale led to the founding of a formal record-keeping framework, AI World Records. From a tiny local test to a global documentation framework in just over a year. Incredible.
And AI World Records isn't just some generic listing site. It's a formalized system designed to document measurable AI and human creative achievements. It operates under a strict formal charter, requiring defined voting thresholds to actually verify these massive feats of modern production.
Central to this whole thing is the founding era framework. This framework isn't just about celebrating sheer volume or saying, look how many songs we made. It is fundamentally about securing data integrity and transparency during a time of incredibly rapid and frankly almost chaotic AI adoption. It's about setting the gold standard for how we measure human-AI collaboration moving forward.
So, the true marvel of our explainer today isn't actually just the 20,000 tracks, as crazy as that number is. The real achievement is the unyielding, brilliantly designed human system built to support them. It's the media instincts, the deep broadcasting knowledge, and those flawless custom scripts that made the music possible in the first place.
Which leads us right to the absolute most important takeaway from our whole deep dive today. AI doesn't replace creativity, it expands the scale at which creativity can operate. AI is simply a multiplier. When you pair it with a strong human vision, deep organizational instincts, and sheer undeniable grit, the impossible suddenly becomes completely achievable.
And that leaves us with a final, kind of provocative question for you to chew on. You've just seen how one person used systematic engineering and AI to build an entire musical universe from scratch. So how will you use these tools? How will AI expand the scale of your own creativity? Take that thought with you and keep learning.